Hello and welcome back to the HH Gaming podcast brought to you by Hellhades.com. Once again, joined on the show by Paul or Safira. And it's been a little while since I guess we put a podcast out. We were going to put one out last week, but it was my birthday and I went out
a bit of a party animal,
went
weren't
to
you?
see Bad Religion, actually. Yeah, and wearing the t-shirt, which I stupidly bought like everyone t-shirts while we were there. Again, it's like the habit that I seem to be getting into with going to these gigs. But was feeling extremely worse for wear the next day. So we never really got around to recording last week. So, however, at the time, you were going through quite an interesting little push in the game.
The quest for Kyoko. That's now famed
which was
in my head.
really cool. I was following along the whole series on the channel, obviously, because you were uploading to our channel every single day, which was really cool to see. And I'd love to see your descent into madness.
The final day was rough. It was,
it was so good.
Sad, tired, not enough coffee. Oh my God, he's pushing. He's not pushing. Okay, I'm ready to grind. Let's do this. Let's get the math out. It was just literally kind of like
that 3 a.m. push. And
it was crazy, honestly. I don't think I could do it again. And I have a total new appreciation for how hard, Hellhades pushed the Chris tournament, because I only did 68,000. He did 404, and I'm like, ugh.
It's nuts. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, obviously, I did the Cold Heart tournament, and I effectively made the mistake that your opponent made, which was I underestimated the person below me, and I just got sniped at the end. And you proved how hard somebody can just snipe in that last
exactly
push.
Yeah. So, as a summary of the whole week, it was kind of like I was watching it. Day one was basically I was like building some points. I wasn't bursting or anything. I was just gradually building some points. There was another one next to me who was doing the same thing. We were kind of neck and neck. I move ahead 1,000, he'd pick up a little bit of 1,000, but we weren't putting tons of points in. I think we were at 10,000 on day one. And then out of nowhere, this other person came in and literally just dumped 22,000 points in like 2 hours. I was like, oh God, have we got a crack? And you get that first little gut thing of like, oh, am I already out of this on day one?
We're in trouble.
He added 22,000. Then I think about 6 hours later he had another like 10,000 or something.
Right.
So I was about 15,000 points behind, but then he didn't put any more. So I was like, well, maybe, there's different strategies you can employ. Some people, I think Colbro did this in his group for Chris, where you basically go and just blast as many points as you possibly can to make people think there's no way I can compete with this guy. He's going to whale, right? You might not actually have the burst, but if you burst early, maybe you get away with saving a lot of your resources. That's one strategy.
Go for the demoralizing.
Yeah. The other strategy could be, I'm just going to burst everything I got and hope for the best. Mm-hmm. And then obviously my strategy was I'm going to basically spend my entire time building up a stockpile, just gradually gaining points. And in the end, what I was watching him, he was like, okay, well, he hasn't put any more points in for 2 days. So I just basically put 1,000 here or there. What I didn't want to do is end up in the same thing that Hellhades was in, which was like, hey, I had 10,000, I wake up and now I'm 10,000 behind, and then I had another 10,000 to catch up. And then you end up just going in this like tit for tat war kind of scenario.
It yo-yoed all the way to the end.
And you end up actually pushing both of your resources higher than you need to. So I was just like, right, I'm going to stick within a burst range of about 10,000. I don't want to be more or less, around about that margin. And he didn't really put any points. And obviously, I think he added another 5,000 points on like 2 days before. I can't remember exactly, when I was getting a bit closer to him, because obviously I wasn't going to waste all that time throughout the week doing nothing. I was still adding points. I was building up a stockpile of bursts. And he then, I think the last burst he did was about 3 hours before it ended. He put 2,000 points in when I was getting closer. I was like 5,000 points away, and he put another 5,000 in. So it pushed me back to 10,000. That was my depressed moment. And then an hour later on my clip, I was like, right, I've done the math. And to be honest, I knew I had bursts. I knew I was going to, be able to overcome like a 10,000. What I really didn't appreciate is just how quickly and how powerful that burst was going to come into play.
Yeah, and your burst was a lot bigger than like you anticipated it being, wasn't it?
Exactly. I had the spreadsheet out in the end, and getting the nerd out of it, and I literally just had I put all my points in. I hadn't leveled any of my rank 5s. I'd just been creating rank 5s, knowing that a lot of the points you get is just by taking a rank 5 from like 1 to 30. I took it to 36 or 37. I wasn't being hyper efficient. I know there's probably ways you could be more efficient with your brews, but I had like 700 brews. So I was sitting there thinking, I got so many brews, I'm never going to run out of them. And even if I do, I can start swapping affinity. And I had 7 XP barrels. I already had lots of 5-star chickens. And the good thing is I was able to do this without actually burning any requirements for the fusion. So it didn't cost me anything that I wasn't then in a position to say, well, I have to do this or the fusion. But even when I was doing the burst, I mean, if anyone's seen the video, you can see me going, oh my God, this is crazy. I mean, even I was surprised by how burst just overcomes it.
Yeah.
I think I basically was in the end, 15 or 10,000 ahead of him by the end of the tournament. And it was mostly me dropping 20,000. It was crazy.
You basically made it impossible for him to catch up. And, where you timed it, you did it like with 45 minutes to go or so, didn't you? And,
so I was trying to do it as short as possible in case he was going to burst. Because I was throughout the entire night, I was guessing. I was like, has he got any more burst that he's just not holding back because he doesn't want to waste resources? Or is he now starting to stretch his account really thin because he still wants to win and he hasn't got much? Or, what time zone is he in? Is he going to be like,
yeah, because that's always the big thing as well, because Raid is effectively a global server. You're up against people all around the world. You may just get lucky that the time frame of when your tournament ends is in the middle of the night for somebody.
Exactly. Like arena reset, it's the same concept.
Exactly,
some people can't do it just because the times just don't work. And also you've got the other factor of tournament timings end at different points in time when the tournament starts.
Yeah.
So I was in clan chat at the time and everyone's like, oh, have you won it? Are you done? And I'm like, yeah, it's another hour to go yet, guys. And like, why is it an hour to go for you? It's like, well, my tournament was just started later.
Yeah, it's like mine finished 2 hours ago.
Yeah, and it was a bit tricky for me because I was trying to time the burst with the ending of clan versus clan as well to see if our clan could win. We were taking it easy, but we were close to winning. Turns out the other clan bursted twice as hard anyway. But I was basically trying to time my burst so that I could still get some clan versus clan points, but not go too soon, that it gives my opponent a time to react. So it was a lot of planning, a lot of strategy, a lot of sort of edge of your seat, thinking, everything was a bit of a gamble because if I go too soon with the burst, then I can't overcome it. Or, if I go too soon, I let him know. And then if he then outbursts me, I've just wasted all that burst that I could have saved for another event. If I don't go too slow, have I got enough time to actually overcome any points if he starts adding a few? So it's like trying to find the balance. It's the first time I've done a tournament like this proper. I tried Sir Nick on day one, but I quickly realized I was never going to get there.
I got Sir Nick from the tournament. I went pretty hard for that.
That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
It was over Christmas. And
the thing is, the difference with that compared to now is you didn't have barrels, you didn't have feasts, you didn't have lots more ways to get brews like Hydra and all the new clan shops and everything we've got gives you a lot more access to different resources we never used to have before. So, the Sir Nick tournament was a different beast to the Chris tournament.
Yeah. It was fun.
But even the Sir Nick tournament was brutal. I still remember Safframan's really
he ended up with a Jingle Hunter, didn't he?
The most expensive Jingle Hunter in the world.
Yeah.
It was quite funny.
And
painful.
I mean, I guess looking at that though, and as well as that, because you were putting out these updates on YouTube effectively, you almost put yourself at a disadvantage because if that guy knows of you and knows of your channel, he can then see your game plan and he knows what it is that you're doing. But
that's the risk, right? I mean, that's why I was trying to be a little bit coy in some things. I was like, I'll tell you tomorrow what I decided to do, kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
It could even be that someone watches my video, knows who it is, and goes and pings and says, "Hey, this is who you're fighting." Like
that's the thing, although we've got 7,000 subscribers here on this channel. HH Gaming as a whole, it's got quite a big following, obviously.
A lot of exposure,
yeah. And lots of people know us within the community. So it only takes for somebody to notice that, their mate is sat in a group with you to then, raise it up and suddenly he may not even have the resources to push, but he's going to keep pushing you just to make sure that you end up spending more than you need to, which is what a lot of these people do. But it was awesome to sort of spectate and watch it. Is this something that you think that you'd go for again if something else popped up?
I think I would need 6 months to recover the resources I need. It's not even whether or not I have the patience to do it. It's actually the resources. There was this one was quite advantageous because I said this on the series. You know, there was a guaranteed summons for Kyoku. So a lot of the Kraken big whales would have just got it then because it's much easier, right? It's just buy 15 sacred shards and be done with it. And she's not the type of champion where you sit there and go, +1 would be amazing, or a duplicate would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you might get her for a faction guardians, but when you look at Shadowkin, you think, well, from an arena perspective, it's probably only Kimmy that you would be really that interested in from the Shadowkin faction. So you automatically I think you automatically disqualify a lot of players who would normally be wailing really hard because they've already got her. The second thing was it was a shorter tournament than Chris. Chris was like 7 to 8 days. This is like 4.5 to 5 days.
Yeah.
So the sort of length of time you have to commit to training is a lot lower. So that was a good thing as well. So yeah, I don't think I could do it straight away. You know, if they drop one tomorrow, I would be like, I don't have I don't really have the resources, and 2, I'm not sure I have the mental capacity to do that much training again, because it's not difficult. It's just boring. And
it's just tiring. Yeah.
Some people were saying to me, why don't you use RSL Help as, food swapping thing? And I was like, I've nothing against it. I just have this anxiety that it's not going to do what I want.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to waste a bunch of energy, and it's not, I can't trust it to just do what I want it to do. So it
is very good. I will say that I used it with the Cold Heart skin tournament, and it is very, very, very good tool. But I understand that you wanted to do it
where
your
I
way.
think it's gonna click the wrong champion or level.
Well, I was worried
thing.
about that. Like a lot of people are saying, have you used the new gear cleansing thing on it? And again, is no knock on the RSL Helper or the guys that are developing it. It's an incredible tool for the community, but it scares the hell out of me that I could press a button and completely clean out my account. Now, all that, albeit that could be user error, but at the same time, it probably is. But at the same time, we are all human. Yeah. And putting so many people's accounts in the hands of one person with the potential to make a mistake that just weighs, maybe flat stat attack as speed by accident, and suddenly all of your gear with speed substats are gone.
It's a recipe for disaster. I
would never want to use it. It scares me.
I understand why some people like it and why some people, and as you said, and as I said, not a knock on the idea or the implementation, but
no.
I'm not going to give a program
tool,
that much control over my inventory. It's just like, it's not going to, I can't trust it to make the decisions.
Especially when you think about the time investment and the financial investment for a lot of people that is taken to actually accumulate that gear. And as I said, guys, yes, chances are those mistakes would be user error. But at the same time, one slip up with the coding and
one bug.
Just one bug. And it could be literally a comma missing between two stats. And all of a sudden,
irreversible.
All of a sudden your gear's gone. But, at the same time, it's a great bit of kit. So, if you're not happy really managing or micromanaging the gear on your account, then check it out. But it's too scary for an account like mine, I guess.
What I did use RSL Helper for effectively was just auto run into max XP. That's what it was really good at.
Yep.
Rather than food swapping, I would literally just go and set it up to auto sell the campaign gear, auto refill, and auto run basically run it until the level. So I'd basically go and I'd do the 1 stars manually, the 2 stars manually. Sometimes I use the in-game swapper to basically, the auto battles that I had available to me for the 1 stars, and I've just gone 1, 2.
That's actually exactly what I did. I used the in-game autos for the 1s and 2 stars, and then for the longer ones,
I literally just slotted 3 in, and I just said next to max level, auto refill, auto sell. And then for the 4 stars next to it, and then I could leave that in the background. So there'd be periods of time where it was very manual, and then periods of time where I'm just like working my way through the food I've built up, because you go through that phase of you've got loads of 1 stars to process, and then you end up with lots of 4 stars you need to process.
It gives you that little bit of buffer that you've got 10 minutes where you can actually get on and do something else before you have to swap champions.
I mean, the good thing for my particular event was I was able to take like 40% of it slow. because I didn't want to push. I wanted to stay under the radar. So the first like 3 days, I was basically just adding about 2 to 3 to maybe 4,000 points a day.
Yeah.
And it was just building up these these 5 stars, building up the resources, going for the different events where I could sneak in a few like 5-star chickens or a bit more brew or a little bit more energy here. And I actually didn't spend an awful lot of money on this event. I think I probably spent $50.
And when you think about the cost of sacred shards and the chances of actually
would have been
pulling
$250 if you think of the pricing. So that's like a guaranteed champion of the power. It was
15 shards, wasn't it, for the guaranteed?
Yeah. Yeah. So 15 shards. It's roughly, if you looked at the pack string, it's about $250 if you want to buy all. So yeah. And to be honest, the energy that I did buy out of that 50, I didn't use all of it. So I had that left over to do some of the other events. I've still got most of the
jumping into the fusion that comes in handy.
Yeah, exactly. So all the multi-battles that I was using, I've still got like about 300 that I had from that sort of event pack that popped, I think today, where you get like, multi-battles and event refills and a burst of energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't really spend too much. I didn't probably need to buy the Forge Pass in the end. I probably should have just bought the Raid Pass instead. But hey, I got more Chaos Ore that I can disappoint Hellhades with, my luck, and him not so much.
Well, segueing from the Forge Pass and that comment to something that we know is going to be coming up very soon in Raid Shadow Legends, which I did want to talk about today, which was the Hero Path. Yeah.
Hero Path, specifically Summer Solstice.
Do we think this is Battle Pass 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a battle pass.
No.
But it is a battle pass.
But the rewards are much like the battle pass was.
It's very weird in that sense. So like normally with a battle, we think traditional battle passes and the ones we've had in the game so far, it's like, here's a free track, complete some missions every day, and then you unlock levels.
Yeah.
Where I think this one is, you kind of have the same thing where you're unlocking levels, but you're actually not unlocking levels. Because what you're doing is you are entering into an event, which is time limited, which is kind of what you do with a battle pass. There's no paid track that I can see from what they've released in terms of the promotion and the sort of sneak peek. It very much looks like we're going to give you a key. You pick the path you want to start on. From the looks of the screenshot, some paths are more expensive than others in terms of how much you need for the coins, but you get better rewards.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And as you progress down the path, you'll hit a point where you get another key and you can open up another path, right? So there isn't a paid or a premium battle pass, a gold pass, or like you see with the Forge Pass, like you saw with the Battle Pass 1, where you basically had the free track and then you basically paid and you got all these premium perks. You see the same with Diablo Immortal, you get the free track and then you can also pay to get the other one. That's typically what you have with a battle pass. You have it in TFTs, the same thing. You have it with other games where there's a battle pass. There's a free track and then there's a premium track. I don't think there's a premium track outside of the coin gap. So looking at it, it's going to be like, right, you pick a path, you start going, you play the game. How much you play the game determines how far you can go down the path. That's the cost.
And that's where the cost's going to be in, because you're going to have to
balanced.
Yeah.
It could be actually quite a cheap event if you manage your resources. It could be still quite expensive. We don't really know how many coins you're going to get for completing an event. So yes,
that is very cool though.
It's a battle pass, but it's actually probably a better version of the type of battle passes that we would want, because it's not as rich as the first battle pass in terms of reward, because it's probably over the top list. Everyone agrees that the first battle pass is so good. No, but
just sort of looking through the screenshot that we've got, I mean, it's more on par with what people were expecting from the Forge Pass.
Yes.
And the, what the community was in uproar. It's just like, these materials and stuff, they're no good to the usual player. We want shards. First thing I see here is shards. So
it needs to be contextualized as a new or mid-game player looking for more resources to help them boost their champions. That is the way you look at it. Because Instinct set, we know, is not an amazing set for endgame or late game. But in the mid game, where you don't necessarily have a good finite team, you don't necessarily have a very fast dragon team, getting that like speed and ignore defense, that Instinct set might actually be really powerful. you get a substantial amount of 6-star legendary resources. You know, you can craft like 160 or something in the forge. What you're buying when you buy the forge pass is access to high quality gear, which is very powerful for early to mid game, not so much for late game where you're farming your more preferred sets in your dungeons at the highest level. Then you kind of move the value over to Chaos Sword and you think, well, you know, that's a bit of an RNG. You're basically doing that. So I think if we contextualize,
or just pointless
Forge,
if you're Hellhades, because that guy can't seem to get any luck with Chaos Sword. So
and I think if you contextualize Forge Pass very much around that, it's not a terrible offering. Is it worth $20? I would say it's not necessarily. It wouldn't be worth much more.
I just found it boring.
Could easily be $5 less. Yeah,
it was
boring.
Not interesting at all.
It wasn't engaging. This solution we've got here is basically the best of both worlds, in my opinion. It is more like the resources we expected to go and what we got from Battle Pass 1.
Yep.
Better than the Forge Pass in terms of the resources. Because now we're getting void shards, we're getting chickens, we're getting energy, we're getting, you know, epic books, we're getting core hammers. I know you get some core hammers in the Forge Pass, but you don't really get that many. This is a good idea. But what you also have, and this is what I really like about Heroes Path, it's not another system. Forge Pass effectively is, I now have to go, like I've got a mission right now in Forge Pass where I have to do 50 campaign runs with 4 champions from the same faction.
Yeah, it was things like that really like just...
It's a distraction.
Yeah.
So I'm basically running Nogdar with like 3 war boys constantly just to get it done. Whereas this, it's like, well, you're just going to get light coins for doing what you do in a game. If you want to upgrade a champion in a terrain event, okay, here's some light coins. You want to run Fire Knight, here's some light coins. You want to upgrade an artifact, here's some light coins. Like it's going to be alongside and giving you bonus rewards. And, you know, we can't really go into detail what we've seen in the data. I can't leak in. I'm not a leaker.
I love that. This entire conversation is just like, we know a little bit more, but
I know some more information. I'm not a leaker like Hellhades. You know, call him out here now.
No, we got told off for leaking information before, so we have to play it pretty close to our chests. You know,
but what I can tell you, if they play it how it looks and what we've seen, this could be the best event Raid have done all year.
Ooh, that's a big statement there.
Because there are stuff in the reward tracks that we don't see in the video, but if they come through, could be.
We're going to quote this here now. Best event Raid has run this year.
I would say even without those things, it's still one of the best events they've run this year.
Yeah,
because you're basically getting free rewards of high value quality stuff. You know, we're looking here, we've got chickens.
Better than Deliana.
Yeah, I think so.
Fruity.
I mean, you've got basically legendary books, which everyone loves. You've got void shards, you've got speed glyphs, you've got 5-star chickens, epic books, energy, just for playing the game. All right. As long as the light coins and the event duration, everything kind of balances out. Obviously, we don't know what this is.
No, and you know, we don't know what investment's going to be needed in terms of time and energy and resources to be able to actually get these this currency to progress the path of light. So, I mean, if you had to take a guess, do you know when players may be expecting this? I mean, we had some maintenance today.
I got hopeful when I saw that warning message, when I actually think it was just fixing their player and play issues. Someone let the SSL certificate expire, I think. Oops. Oopsie. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I think, well, if you think it's called the Heroes Path Summer Solstice. That's what it's been framed around. So if you look at Summer Solstice in the UK, it's the 23rd of June, which would be next week. If you look at, I think some of the countries, it's the 21st. I know Finland and Sweden, I think has like a weird summer solstice because they have like a festival and, you know, speak to the elves and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As you do. But yeah, so it feels like it's not going to be this week now because it's Thursday. We haven't heard anything about it.
We've only just heard about the 10 times that's popping tomorrow. I think if there was going to be anything popping this week, but next week,
I would think it's next week.
Awesome.
Because we know it's definitely going to be in this patch, right? Because they've said it's coming in this patch. They've talked about it. This is part of the update of 5.60. So we know it's this patch, and it can't not be this patch, because why would you start the summer solstice like a month from now?
Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Wouldn't make sense. So I think like the 23rd is a week today.
Mm-hmm.
The 21st is a southern solstice in another country. So they normally add features in the game Tuesday to Thursday. So I think it's either going to start Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think that's a safe bet.
I don't know when the fusion ends.
Keep posted.
When does the fusion end? Let's take a quick look in here and see. So the fusion
probably
ends
got a little bit of time.
1 week, 3 days. So the fusion ends like Friday? No. Like Sunday by the looks of it. But I think all the events end like Friday or so. So, you know, that's we haven't got long left of the fusion. It would kind of make sense that the event starts towards the end of the fusion, if that makes sense. So we go from one event to the next event. That would be preferable, I would imagine, from players' perspective. We want to keep these events like rolling. And again, the good thing is it's not like, oh, I've just done the fusion, now I've got to do this. You don't have to participate. But if you do, you're just doing what you always do in the game. It's not asking you to do something different.
Hopefully, anyway.
That's what it looks like.
But yeah.
I mean, we can see the objectives on the left on the video. Upgrade champions, get artifacts and accessories, upgrade accessories and artifacts. So that's, you know, using your silver, upgrade champions, champion training, and dungeon diving, which is actually the 3 core things you do on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know whether Minotaur will have points. That would be nice, just in case people want to run masteries, because I have now 8, 9 champions I need to run masteries for. Thanks, Kyoku.
The convenience.
At some point. I already had a backlog of like 4 champions. Now I've got like 8 more. So great. But I am working on Kyoku. I am working on upgrading it so I can do some content on Kyoku. That is in the works. Just going to take me some time. But yeah, the hero path for me, I don't know about you, I'm super excited for it. I think this is the type of stuff players will want to see and enjoy. Hopefully, it won't be met with negativity.
I think the rewards look great from the screenshot. And I know obviously we've had a little bit of a further deep dive into what may be coming up in that. Yeah. And again, they look very interesting. I think
I'd actually say game changing if they release it.
I just think it's cooler than what the Forge Pass was. I think if there was any hype around the Forge Pass, then pushing it out to this one instead, or pushing that hype towards this one instead is probably a safer bet if you wanted to get excited about something. And, you know, obviously we've just had a very good fusion running, which is still going at the moment, which will massively boost people's accounts. We've had Deliana in the game, which people have still got probably another month before that comes to
July,
an end.
Actually, quite a bit. I think it's like 28th or 23rd of July. So it's about like a month and 2 weeks or a month and a week before we do it. I'm probably going to start a free to play properly in the next month. I did start one just before Kyoku, and I realized what a terrible mistake that was.
Just get Deliana and then worry about it later.
I mean, you want to do the novice tournament, right? That starting a free to play, it's all about the first week. If you don't do the first week properly, you're always going to be behind because you lose your XP boost and lots of other problems start happening. And
I want to see on this channel a free to play series with spreadsheets and everything else.
Oh God!
Hosted by the man himself, Mr. Saphira, because the way that you analyze and min-max the way that you play the game, I think would be amazing as a complete fresh free starter account.
I don't know if I'm as like
something we need to
Earbad, though.
No, true. That account that Earbad has is insane.
His 3v3 alone.
He's taken his obsession to like a new level.
I don't know how you get away with doing that much 3v3. Like I'm about probably good at goal 3v3. There's a tournament on at the moment, which normally I try to go for, but in my tournament bracket, I've got 3 people all on 20,000 points. I'm like, nah, I don't enjoy it. I like 3v3. I don't like it that much. I'm not doing 20,000 points in a tag team tournament over 4 days. That's a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
You know, it's awful. It's all, I don't mind doing like 10 here or there, but, and I like the challenge sometimes of trying to beat specific comps. But for me, it's also quite awkward because I don't have the meta. I don't have Necra. I don't, people will be surprised. I think that they realize I'm sitting there going, I actually have a really bad account for Arena Endgame because I don't have Necra, Warlord, Siphi, Rotus, I don't have Kaimar. I don't have what's the other? I don't have Cardiel with there. Like these champions that are pretty much meta everywhere. It's actually very difficult for me to do a proper arena defense. I don't have Hegemon. Like, it's actually shocking. I have every other champion in the game, but all the arena meta, like apart from a few champions like a Suga, I have those. But...
my account's in a similar situation. It's slowly starting to creep in there. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to need to cut the podcast a little bit short there. I don't actually know how long we've been going for, but Mr. Hellhades himself just messaged me asking me to step into another meeting. So,
wow. Okay.
But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and apologies for the sort of, I think we had like a 2-week gap between the podcasts.
It's always healthy to have a holiday.
Yeah, but we will be going back to our usual schedule now. In addition to that, we are all as a team going to TwitchCon in 4 weeks today. Actually, we'll be flying out to Amsterdam to go to TwitchCon. So we'll be uploading some like IRL sort of content of the behind the scenes of getting up to God knows what in Amsterdam with so it's myself, Sphera, Hellhades, Lockers, and Never. We're all flying out to Amsterdam. We'll be there for 4 or 5 days. Can't remember exactly. The content will obviously be limited during that time, but then we should have some really cool videos and behind the scenes stuff going on either here or on Hellhades' channel. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in another video very, very soon.